Our guest this episode is Keith Kacadia, founder and CEO of Socially In, a social media agency that helps some of the world's biggest brands execute creative strategies that actually connect. From Dick's Sporting Goods to the Winter Olympics, Keith's team has delivered social campaigns for over 150 clients. He's also the creator of the Southern Social Summit, one of the South's largest marketing events. Here to discuss what it takes out to stand out and drive results in today's crowded digital world, please welcome to the podcast, Keith Kacadia. Welcome, Keith.
Welcome to the Engaging Personalities Podcast. I'm Anders Belanger, founder and CEO of Engagify, where we're on a mission to rehumanize business through engagement. We believe that we can all be more successful if we can command attention and deepen connection. So stick around to the end of the show and we'll reveal how you can be our next guest on a future episode. So let's get ready to engage.
Hey, Anders, thank you for having me. Excited about our conversation.
Excellent. And thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
Keith, let's start at the start. How did you get into, and I'm looking for the people who can't see Keith, he's a young guy, so social is in his blood, I'm sure, but How did you get going with social media in the first place? Did you fall in love with it and this kind of blossomed? Tell us your backstory.
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I used to do digital marketing. So I used to own a AdSense farm. So a bunch of small websites that, generated $2 to $3 a day. So that was my start into the world of digital marketing. And then I got into affiliate marketing. So during high school, that's really how I made my money, was doing affiliate and digital marketing stuff. And because of that knowledge, one of my dad's friends, he knew I was doing that in high school. He owned a restaurant at the time. Now I'm in college, 19 years old. And he was like, "Hey, Keith, I'm starting this restaurant. I know you do marketing stuff. Can you run my social media?" This is when social media was just coming up 14 years ago. And I was like, "Yeah, I could do that." So I started a company called Socially In. He was my first client. Now he has 16 restaurants. We still work with him today. And that's how it all began. So in high school, I was doing digital marketing. Because of that knowledge, my dad's friend was like, "Hey, can you run my stuff?" I was like, "Absolutely. I'll start a company and do it like that." He was my first client. That was, like I said, 14 years ago, back at Mississippi State University.
Wow. So you just I'm just fascinated that you were, making $2 to $3 a day digital marketing in high school. That's very unique. And I mean, you were honing these skills from day one. So you almost it sounds like you love it. You kind of sound like you have a passion for it. Okay, good. Because I was going to say you kind of fell into that and there you are. You're just, out there in the wild.
Started off as a marketer and now I consider myself more into business than marketing. I'm doing less marketing these days than running an actual business. But my roots are in marketing. I mean, it all started because I started a sports forum. It was like an NFL sports forum. And I literally Googled how to get more users to the forum. And that's what led me down the journey of marketing, because you have to market the forum in order to get users. So that's how it all started. I started as a marketer, but now I consider myself more in the realm of business more than marketing.
Okay. So if we talk, let's talk about Socially In. What are kind of the main kind of offerings that we talked about Winter Olympics and Dick's Sporting Goods and things like this. So what are kind of the campaigns? What are the things that you're running? Just to kind of give the listeners a sense. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we help brands specifically on social media. So we only do social media, unlike other digital marketing agencies, which will do email, SEO, search, all these different things. Socially In only does social media, and we help brands with social strategy. We have a full content production studio here in Atlanta. It's a 5,000 square foot production studio. We help with community management. We help with social selling. So I know the audience is in sales and revenue generation. We help executives and sales reps with their personal LinkedIn profile. We help with advertising management. So we do everything in the world of social media. And the Winter Olympics was just one of many really unique campaigns we've done. Another fun one we've done is we've done the largest TikTok dance at sea. It was a Guinness World Record that we broke with Carnival Cruise Line, where we organized 7 ships all at once. We coordinated a dance. All jumbotrons turned on at the same time, and all of the guests on the board did a TikTok dance at sea. So We've done really fun campaigns like that. So I mean, I got tons and tons of examples like that. But
Wow.
we're a social
Um,
media agency.
Now, are you, yeah, and I like, even though that sounded at first to me like, yeah, only social, like only social. There's so much to social, right? Like you
Absolutely.
just talked about, like, well, there's still ads on social. So you got the paid marketing, you've got the, just
The
every
executives.
piece of that, like the production studio you talked about. You're like, yeah, like filming video for social, like that's, now you're a production company. Like there is a lot tied into
Yeah.
that. Um, one of the thoughts that came up for me, especially with that TikTok dance piece, was, are you coming up with the ideas for these campaigns, or are they
Yeah.
coming
So
to you with that? Because
Yeah, so that one we came up with, and it's not necessarily me, but our creative director, her name is Nisha. She's great. She comes up with it. She leads a team of creatives. I mean, we have 50 people at our agency, so we're not a small team. But yeah, that campaign specifically we came up with. A lot of times clients will come to us and say, hey, here's the problem that I'm having socially, and you solve that problem. So
mm,
that's kind of how the social selling division came about, which is one of the chief revenue officers at a Fortune 500 company came to us and said, hey, we have this issue. We're paying for LinkedIn Sales Navigator, but none of my sales reps are using LinkedIn Sales Navigator. What do we do? So we came up with all of these different ideas, and the idea that we landed on was, why don't we just do it for them? So we have a service called Social Selling Assistant, and it's exactly that. It's a person who logs into your LinkedIn account as a sales rep, and they do the activities that you should do as a sales rep, which are different things
oh,
like adding people to your
right,
network, posting content, cleaning up your inbox, engaging with people, all of the
yeah,
stuff you should be doing on a daily basis.
wow, man, so many things are coming up for me. So one of the thoughts, Keith, was, with all the trends, we were just talking about like TikTok dances. How do you decide which ones are worth investing time and energy into? Because it's like you can jump on a trend and it's like, oh, like
Yeah.
you want it to be successful, you want it to come off the right way. How do you figure that out
Yeah,
for
so I mean, it's a balance of going at bat as many times as possible. So if the resources are there, if the budget's there, we want to create as many trend-focused videos as possible. Now, if the resources are limited, then it all starts with the strategy. So in the beginning stages, we're outlining, hey, brand, this is your content strategy. These are the type of trends we're going to jump on. These are the ones that we're going to stay away from. But if the budget is there and the resources are there, we want to go at bat as many times as possible. So the more content we can create, the more trends we can jump on, the better. If the resources are not unlimited, like they are for many clients, then it all starts with this content strategy.
yeah, yeah. um how much automation is happening in this? Because that whole, like, sales navigator piece, like there's a lot of intelligent interaction that I feel
Yeah.
like it has to be a person doing it for you,
Yep.
and authenticity is important in social media as well. So how do you
Yeah. So it's
stay
a balance.
productive? But yeah, like, yeah,
We've
exactly.
been using AI and automation now a lot more than we have in the past 6 months, I would say. On the social selling side, there's not much automation. We're not doing the LinkedIn mass messages that you see. It's personalized, it's one-to-one. On the creative side of things, we are using automation. So we're specifically using automation for idea generation. So at any given month, a specific client, we might be creating 30 pieces of content a month, plus sometimes it's even more, sometimes it's like 60, 70, 100 plus pieces of content for this one individual brand per month. So we use AI to help us ideate what we could create. So the AI knows everything about the business. We upload all of the files, we upload the brand guidelines, we upload the strategy into a custom GPT. And then the account managers use that to ideate pieces. And then they take those ideas, those seed ideas, and then they formulate them into final pieces that we can ultimately turn into production. We're not using AI for content production just yet. It's not quite there in terms of like high level production. It will be soon. So we're not like generating images and then just posting that. Those are
Right.
still all graphic designers, video production, editors, etc. But on
It-
the idea side, it's very helpful for coming up with
yeah,
ideas.
I was going to say, when you're talking about the graphics, like, people know,
People know.
like, and there is like my son too just has such a good eye for like AI graphics,
Yeah,
just like, yeah, that's AI.
that's
And
AI.
as we are fine tuning that like recognition of ourselves. I mean, AI is getting better all the time too, right? There's that sort of thing, but you want it to land the right way, right? And
Exactly.
so you
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 don't
know
want AI slop.
conscious.
I just saw a data piece the other day. AI content on the web has surpassed human created content. This just happened like last month.
Whoa,
Yeah, so more
interesting.
content is AI, maybe not fully created by AI, but at least AI assisted.
Yeah, and we're at end of October 2025. Just like giving a sense, when did that
Yeah.
just happen? Okay, interesting. I want to switch gears and do trade shows. My heart's, I do a lot of
Yeah.
trade shows. We have a lot of trade show people probably listen to the podcast. If people are at a trade show and they've got their social people there, or they're sometimes it falls on the event manager's shoulders too to make some content and different things. What are some things that people can do or should think about?
Yeah.
Be able to kind of like giving this trade show more shelf life and giving it social love, you know?
Yeah. A lot of different things you can do. One of the biggest things that we see, because we do a lot of trade shows and we support brands that are at trade shows with their social media presence. One of the big things that I don't see them doing is tagging the location. So the way the algorithm works today is if you're in Atlanta, then you're going to at least see some content from Atlanta, tagged locations, people tagging different restaurants that might be around you. So if you want people to come to your booth, and you're going live or you're putting out Instagram stories or you're putting out an Instagram post that says, "Hey, come to my booth, win an iPad," or whatever, your offer is, you want to tag the location. So if it's the convention center in Las Vegas, which building is it? That way the people who are in the vicinity of your booth essentially and they're on Instagram have a higher chance that your post is going to be visible. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing you can do is put out as many Instagram stories as you possibly can, right? These don't need to be polished. They can be quick. If a customer comes and you see an interaction with the sales rep and a customer, go in and snapshot a video of that. The more stories that you can post during the trade show, the more reach you're going to have to people who are at the trade show and then also engaging with content of other trade show attendees.
So that's really, I don't want to say gaming the system, but it is utilizing the algorithm the way it's
Exactly.
meant to be used. And these are some of the things that we don't realize push the needle
Exactly.
in that sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I might say, as not devil's advocate, but kind of like, okay, Instagram, that's fine. But trade shows, the most of the trade shows we do are B2B.
Yeah.
LinkedIn is probably, more of the, platform of choice for business in that sense. What are some things you could share about LinkedIn that we can help, be
Yeah.
seen better on that platform?
Absolutely. So one thing that we do whenever we go to a trade show or we're supporting a brand is create an event on LinkedIn. So when you create an event on LinkedIn, you can now invite your connection to that event. You can also run ads to that event. So let's say you create an event. Now you know all of these people are going to be at trade shows. You know who your target list is that you want to meet with. You want to invite them to that event. You want to post content within the event itself, right? So when you create an event on LinkedIn, it creates a page. Within that page, you as the admin can go in and post content. So setting up the trade show, you want to post something about that. When you're live and you're ready to get rocking and rolling and the sales team just brought out the donuts, you want to post about that. You want to feed that event page as much as possible because remember, you've invited people to that event of the people that you want to eventually meet at the trade show, hopefully. Same thing with the event page. You can run ads on LinkedIn and then you can create a vicinity. So you can say, hey, I want to reach senior level executives who are in Las Vegas right now, specifically in this zip code. And then you can run ads to that event page. And then if you have an offer at your trade show and it's compelling enough, they might click on it and they might come to there. So, I mean, those are two easy tactics. Create an event page, invite all of the people that you want to see at the trade show to that event. And the event is just simply, I'm going to be at this booth number at this time, and we're going to be giving this thing away.
I think that's gold, Keith. I don't think people are doing that. Like from my perspective, I mean, obviously some people are because you're you're doing it and you're helping people do
Yeah.
it. But I'm just thinking like I'm not seeing on my LinkedIn, with all the connections I have and so many of the events people that I'm connected with.
Yep.
I don't think there's any of that happening. So that's a big win for people if they
Yeah.
start doing that. So Um,
And then another tactic you can
yeah,
do is you can take that event page and then create a lead list in Sales Navigator and then blast that event to people that you want to meet at the trade show. So if you got 100 people on your lead list, just send them a message. Hey, I'm not selling you anything. I'm going to be at this trade show. Hopefully you're there. Please come stop by at this event. And now you have the event page with all of the details. They're going to be getting the updates because remember, during the event, you're posting within the event page. So it's just a really easy way to get people to your booth.
yeah, and you get that constant drip happening, right? And almost like they're feeling like they're part of something, even if they haven't joined you.
Exactly.
They're seeing what's happening. So that's a great way of, I think, of extending that experience socially. You know,
Yep. And
from
people
what
come
I
to
see.
trade shows to meet other people, right? And if you're lending
Yeah,
out a hand and saying, hey, let's meet, you're going to get a pretty high response rate saying, yeah, sure, I'm happy to meet.
yeah. But let's talk a little bit about measuring our success because you've given us some, some good pointers and some good tips and strategies on social. Like when I think back, and I'm going back to the infancy of social media, it's
Yeah.
these chasing the likes, right? Like, and it's in some of it is ego based, some of it is, I'm not too sure if it's a vanity metric. What do you want to see? And I'm going to guess it depends on strategy and everything, but
Yeah,
like, what do you want
exactly.
to see in some of these campaigns that you're working with?
Yeah, so I mean, we track a lot of different metrics. So you mentioned vanity metrics. We track that across the board. Everyone is going to get a report on how many new followers did we get, how much engagement rate did our content get. That's kind of the basic level of reporting. For e-commerce brands specifically, we're tracking return on ad spend. We run ads. How many add to carts did we get? How many purchases did we get? If we're tracking B2B leads, then we're tracking from an organic standpoint, how many leads did we get from social? What was the return, right? So you have the agency fee, you have the production fee. Out of all of those fees, how much is it costing us to generate a lead? Very similar thing on the trade show side. If we're creating an event page, we're setting goals around how many people do we want to say are going to come to the event on LinkedIn? So 100 people are going to say they're coming, and then how many people ended up coming to the booth? And then obviously we can track that through either the giveaway or the lead intake that's at the booth itself. Then there are other unique metrics that we measure. So for some of our clients, we're working with the HR department. So they're utilizing things like TikTok to recruit a younger demographic into the organization. So in their account, we're measuring qualified applicants. How many applicants came through TikTok that were qualified? And that's simply the measurement that we're using. We don't
Right.
care about follower growth. We don't care about engagement rate. We care about how many applicants came from TikTok that are actually qualified. So it's really across the board. It's based on the strategy. It's based on the style of business. Is it B2C? Is it B2B? What's the objective? Is it a one-off campaign or is this like the long-term social media plan? It's all dependent, but we track every single metric that you can possibly imagine.
Keith, just watching you go off on, on all of this, I can feel your expertise. Like you've been doing this a while, your stuff. And I think social media has blossomed or blown up into such a, tough thing to wrangle, right? That we need people like you out there helping brands.
Yeah.
Uh, what are some of the biggest mistakes or I don't know, misconceptions people have because it's like, you just talked about taking it all the way to ROI, right? Like
Yeah.
seeing it in social media for a long time, like, oh, is this worth doing? That's what business owners would say. What are they doing wrong out there? Or what are some of the biggest
Yeah,
mistakes?
I mean, it depends on what you're working on, but on the organic side of social, I think a lot of people today get wrong that you're posting too much, right? Today, the algorithms, the way they work, it's interest-based media, so it's less social-based, right? Like followers mattered back in the past. Now they don't matter as much. The algorithm rewards content that is interesting to the end consumer. So you really can't post too much, right? The more you can post, the more at bats that you're going to get and the more opportunity the algorithm has to spread it to the right person. On the paid side of social, when you're spending ad dollars, a lot of people get it wrong and they think that, hey, I got a winning campaign. Let me just put more fuel on the fire. Let me just add dollars to the campaign and it'll scale appropriately. Usually the campaigns don't scale appropriately if you're not adding in more creative, if you're not optimizing the campaign settings, etc. So that's a common myth is like, let's just put more money into the account and everything will just grow. That's not the case. On the influencer side of things, we see brands get it wrong where they think it's like, let's just pick an influencer and let's engage with them. No, there's a whole process, and you want the influencer to be more ambassadors. You don't want them to just post one time about your business. You want them to be actual users of the business. So you're cultivating this relationship. It's very much, you have to talk to them on a weekly basis. You're running reports. So it's never just like, hey, pick an influencer, pay them, and then we're done. It's more of a long-term relationship building. So, I mean, different areas, different mistakes, but those are three areas that we see a lot of big mistakes in.
Yeah, and I mean, the whole idea of social media is obviously in the algorithm is always evolving, always changing.
Yep.
And like, where do you see this? Well, I'm going to go two-part question, Keith. One of them, what do you think the next shift is? Because, just when you think you got to figure it out, it changes, right? Like that's probably your life. It's that thing.
Yeah.
And then where do you see this going out in the future as you kind of future cast?
Yeah. So one of the big things we do at Socially In is live in the now, right? So we're trying to grab attention where it is now. So we don't overly think about, hey, where is the attention going to be in the future? Which I can still give an answer around that, what my thoughts are. But the methodology of Socially In is we help our clients where the attention is in the exact moment. One of the things that we've been talking about a lot this past year is the interest-based side of social media, right? So the whole idea that your followers essentially are going to go away. Your followers don't matter. And actually what we think is you'll have two feeds. You'll have one feed, which is your interest feed. So this is things that you don't follow, you've never heard about, but it's the algorithm showing you content that it knows you're interested in. And then your second feed being the people that you follow. And then that's going to be capped, right? Like there's been a study in the past of like you can only have so many real friendships, right? I think it's like 70 or so friends or something like that, like true friendships that you can have in your life. And we're gonna see that on social, right? Like you might be able to only follow 100 people, and then you might have to remove people if you want to follow more people. We'll see something to that effect, is what we believe, which we're already seeing right now, right? Like if you have 10,000 followers and I have 1 million followers, you could post something today that outperforms my content because it's
Right.
interest based.
Right. Because of the engagement based on
Exactly.
right. Like if yours is catching fire, then it's going to have
Exactly.
more.
But historically, that was not the case. If I had 1 million, I was always going to beat you, even if your content was better.
Right. Right. Yeah. What you know what good content is good content, or is it just about starting the conversation, Keith? Like where you're not maybe teaching or telling as
Yeah.
much as you are asking. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we're all about asking, right? We want to cultivate the conversation. So a lot of the content that we put out there is open-ended. We're asking a question, we're asking people to participate in some form or fashion. So I lean on the side, like if you go look at my feed, my last post was what's the best business advice that you've ever gotten, right? So, and I've gotten like a few comments on that already. So I'm all about open-ended conversation. I'm all about open-ended questions. So I'm all about let's try to get as much engagement as possible.
So I find that interesting, just in the sense that thought leaders, if they were to drop wisdom, that can go silent, right? Because
Yeah,
it's like you
well,
can learn off something unless it stimulates conversation around it. But I'm just saying, and then those who actually don't have anything to say can ask a
yeah, that's a
question
good point.
and actually do more in terms of the viralness or whatever of the post. And I don't know if we're rewarding the right thing there. Like we want engagement, and yet, where is that kind of payoff come from?
Yeah, that's a really good point. And what I would ask the executives and the thought leaders is think about how if you drop some knowledge, how can you still turn it into a conversation towards the end?
Yeah,
Whether you're asking a simple question about the content that you just put out, maybe you're asking about an opinion around the
yeah,
content, but how could you turn that drop of knowledge into something people can engage with
right.
and
Yeah,
not
no,
just
that's a good
leave it
point.
closed-ended?
So you still can teach, or drop this knowledge, like we're saying, and yet you go, in your experience, what has worked well for this, or what does this relate to your situation, or whatever, right? Just that
Exactly.
extra question at the end. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Um, So yeah, so that two, when you talk about like capping the number of followers and the interest feeds,
Two feeds,
that's
yeah,
an interesting thought. And it's like, yeah, if you can only follow 100 people, who are you going to follow, right? Like
exactly.
that's um, kind of a tough question to from a
Yeah,
business point of view. I start going, well, I want to follow like prospects, right? Like I might be ignorant of all of my business contacts and friends and things that
yeah.
just because I want to focus so much on serving, you know?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
different platforms might work differently. I'm thinking
Yeah.
more on the consumer platforms. I don't think LinkedIn would ever go towards that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Okay. What's if a company approached you, what's a good fit for a company that's looking to up their social game? What are you looking
yeah,
for?
so we typically work with medium-sized businesses, so anyone doing anywhere from 5 million in revenue upwards of 100 million in revenue. We do have enterprise clients like Hitachi, Samsung, Carnival, etc. But our sweet spot is businesses doing between 5 and 100 million in revenue who might have dabbled into social or who has a full-blown social team but might have a problem. And we can come in and help build a solution around the problem.
Cool. And where can people find you, Keith?
All over social, just my name, Keith Cacadia, and then my company, sociallyin.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Keith, I appreciate you being here and sharing your knowledge. And uh, I like that whole LinkedIn events thing. I'm like, yeah, that's good. I
Yeah,
think I
try
may
it
have
out.
to
I think it'll work for you.
check that out because I do. Yeah, I get it. I get it. So
No,
thank you
thank you
so
for having me,
much.
Anders.
I appreciate it. And thank you to all our listeners for tuning in once again. And until next time, you know what to do. Stay engaged.
Thank you so much for listening to Engaging Personalities. If you believe this world needs more engagement and you're an industry leader or you have an interesting take on rehumanizing business, go to go.engagify.ai/podcast-guest to apply and come on the show. If you got something out of this interview, do you mind sharing it on your social media? Just grab a quick screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend or post it on the socials. If you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show. Include the hashtag Engaging Personalities. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episode, go ahead and subscribe. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and mean a lot to me and my team. Want to know more? Go to our website, engagify.ai, or follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening and stay engaged.